くるから今これを疲れたら弾かれちゃいそうだ。パワーを絞り出せ仲間の欲望でまだ甘くはない青い果実でしょう。瞳を静かに閉じ小さな種を握って今走り出せば届くはずこの想い。
頭に来るぜ。戦いが大好きで優しいサイヤ人なんてよ。頑張れカカロット、お前がナンバーワンだ。
今日からは今日からの明日からは明日からの新しいストーリー刻めばいいでしょう。 Can't please give some back to me. Don't stop cause I've been chasing around. 風を抜き去って届かせるこの想い。戦いから逃げてたマジでさにさよならさ。まだ甘くはない青い果実でしょう。瞳を静かに閉じ小さな種を握って今走り出せば届くはずこの想い。
俺はサイヤの誇りを持った囚人だ。
言わせたい青い果実でしょう。 Don't stop cause I've been chasing around. 風を抜き去って届かせるこの想い。信じて自然にブレーキがかかる。ちょっと寄り道していこうかなんて気まぐれな大人たちの気まぐれな遊び方に惑わされて進むのを忘れてた。 No way 誰かが知らんと気を抜いてつけてくるから今これを疲れたら弾かれちゃいそうだ。パワーを絞り出せ仲間の欲望でまだ甘くはない青い果実でしょう。瞳を静かに閉じ小さな種を握って今走り出せば届くはずこの想い。
まに来るぜ。戦いが大好きで優しいサイヤ人なんてよ。頑張れカカロット、お前がナンバーワンだ。
今日からは今日からの明日からは明日からの新しいストーリー刻めばいいでしょう。 Can't risk you so bad to me. Don't stop cause I've been chasing around. 風を抜き去って
Beginning momentarily on none other than your Iron Princeton. Welcome back.
瞳の静かに閉じ小さな種を握って今走り出せば届くはずこの想い。
俺はサイヤの誇りを持った囚人だ。
淡く実らせたい青い果実でしょう。 Don't stop cause I've been chasing around. 風を抜き去って届かせるこの想い。
Right now. I believe that is fine and princely dandy. Alright, so welcome back to none other than when a sudden destruction came into my life. The legend of the God of Destruction. And also by none other than the thelonelynixie, also known as my little sister, all the way up there in the Philippines. Today, or shall I say tonight, we are going to finally finish the backstory. Main story we'll get into some other time. Alright, chapter 10, Vegeta's Fate. Okay, this might join us momentarily. Haven't begun quite yet, so wait. I'll just read the summary in the meantime, of course. Guilt is something Beerus had never felt since he became the god of destruction. But after he met the Saiyan Prince Vegeta, for the first time, he felt bad for what he did to him. Because of this, Beerus planned to set Vegeta free using the 7 Dragon Balls, so the prince could live as the Saiyan he is and fulfill his destiny to become the ruler he was meant to be. However, a massive key unexpectedly appeared in their universe, and its owner's arrival would force Beerus and Vegeta to choose their fate. This is part 10 of Vegeta's backstory, telling Vegeta's ascension, becoming the most dangerous deity of death and destruction of Universe 7. Yes, part 10, Roman numeral X, you know, and then the X is like 5, but then also the 24th letter in the alphabet, so, you know, it's a prince. Okay, seems to be she's a bit occupied right now, so she'll just catch up, you know, by in her own accord and all that. Let's commence. Guilt. It was a feeling that Beerus had never felt since he became the god of destruction. An emotion he highly believed that is unnecessary for someone like him. A burden, an uncomfortable and annoying feeling that could distract him and his thoughts from his proper duties as the god of destruction. For 200 million years he had been destroying lives, entire races of useless mortals, planets, and even whole galaxies without much remorse. His sword caused a lot of death and destruction his entire life, and he never once flinched on it. It was cold and ruthless whenever he bestowed his divine punishment to the mortals he deemed as unnecessary to exist in this world. Yet despite that, Beerus believed himself to be a merciful god. Thus, he would give second chances to mortals if he felt like it. just so he could not live to regret any of his decision to destroy them and spare himself the guilt. Never did Beerus fail on this. He never felt any guilt or remorse about those lives he had destroyed, until recently. Since the unexpected summons from the King of All, Beerus couldn't sleep or wink at all. While he did fulfill the promise he made with Vegeta to teach him the powers of destruction and to support him with his goals of wanting vengeance from Frieza and surpassing the gods, deep inside him, he wanted to avoid Vegeta as much as possible. He noticed the same tense and jumpy whenever he was around him. Perhaps Vegeta was thinking that he was mad about what happened in King Zen's palace, and that he would berate him for the humiliation he caused him in front of the King of All, upon announcing that he never wanted to become a god of destruction. Truthfully, Beerus never blamed him for that. Beerus blamed himself. Guilt. The feeling he had never once felt since he became a god of destruction gnawed at his chest whenever he saw Vegeta. Beerus never actually regretted what he did for letting Frieza destroy the Saiyans. It was a game he enjoyed. It had nothing to do with Vegeta becoming an orphan after losing everything he once had as an heir to the throne of planet Vegeta. Beerus didn't feel guilty about those things, nor the seeds of rage, hatred, and bitterness he had implanted into Vegeta's young heart. What he was feeling guilty about was something else, the contract itself. When Vegeta made the contract with him, the price of his wishes' fulfillment should have been his soul, that in his death, Beerus must destroy his very existence. But since Beerus saw the potential of a great destroyer within the Saiyan Prince, Beerus decided to change that and told Vegeta to become the next god of destruction. Beerus was bored of his life, especially exhausted, having lived for more than 200 million years, only seeing and causing nothing but death and destruction in his wake. He wanted to find a suitable replacement in his mantle and finally have his freedom and peace of mind. He wanted to rest and be free from all these things. And after he met Vegeta, the mortal whom he chose to fulfill that long-awaited wish of his, he was relieved to know that his life of loneliness will soon be over. Gengyo had already foreseen this on the day Vegeta was born, that Beerus' time as a destroyer will end as a new mortal destined to take up the mantle of being the seventh universe's god of destruction had been born, the one who would one day surpass all of the deities. But after Vegeta had openly declared his disinterest in the position, claiming that he only agreed to the contract due to his persuasions for greater strength, Beerus thought that he had taken things far too much from Saiyan. If Vegeta indeed becomes a god of destruction, it would mean that Beerus would take away the only thing that made Vegeta who he is, that proud and strong Saiyan warrior prince, who is destined to rule this universe as its mightiest king and be its most powerful warrior among all. Perhaps it was also his destiny to destroy this universe as well, for his fate made an unexpected turn, creating a different path for him. Or maybe he was meant to become both after all. He was fated to both rule and destroy this universe. Beerus' jaw twitched. Vegeta possessed all the potential and qualifications to become the perfect god of destruction. Yet, it doesn't feel right at all. Because if Vegeta indeed becomes a god of destruction, Beerus knew that the proud Saiyan Prince will never be the same. What a waste. Beerus had regrets, but he must do the right thing. A selfless act, for the first time in his life as a god. And because of this, Beerus made a critical decision. A decision to set the Saiyan Prince free. In order for Vegeta to fulfill his true destiny, to rule this universe as its mighty warrior king, for him to be happy, to become a free spirit, to live his life as he wanted it to be, out of this endless, shackled, cursed life bounded by the dark duties of a god of destruction, filled with death, devastation, self-loathing, endless guilt, nightmares, and loneliness. But while Vegeta was busy looking for the Dragon Balls wherever they were blown away by his furious battle with Frieza earlier, Beerus told this to his guide angel Whis. I have 3 wishes. The first is to have Paronka make use of his powers to make it appear that Vegeta and I never had any contract before. I want him to completely abrogate the contract we had. The second is for him to erase Vegeta's memories about us and the other gods he met, so it would look like he had never met us once. My last wish is for Paronga to fill the missing pieces of Vegeta's memories with everything that would have made him happy, peaceful, and satisfied. I would have allowed the destruction of everything he once had, but in exchange, he shall be blessed more than what he lost. I will talk to Shin about this later. As a fine reward for what he did to rid that rotten Frieza of the world. Are you really sure about this, Beerus-sama? I mean, Vegeta might become the next Frieza if that happens. Yes, Beerus responded with a nod. Determination in his eyes. We have nothing to worry about. He will never become like Frieza. In his heart, Vegeta knows the difference between right and wrong, and what should exist and what should be destroyed. He will be a great and better ruler of this universe than Frieza or Cold ever was. Of course, I never doubted Vegeta's heart. Such a shame. I'm sure the King of All would be greatly disappointed when he finds out about this. He learns about this, and this universe might. Suddenly, Whis and Beerus felt a massive divine power appear close to them. This caused both of them to feel absolute terror, and without any second thoughts, both of them quickly flew to where Vegeta was busy looking for one of the Dragon Balls, grabbed him by his arms, while Beerus cursed, "Shit! Shit! Shit!" repeatedly. A confused Vegeta dropped the Dragon Ball he just found and was unable to say anything, just as Whis used his hyperspace flight ability to walk the 3 of them back to the planet. Vegeta couldn't understand why Whis and Beerus just dragged him back to their world as if they were in a hurry or being chased. He was confused, even more when he realized that both Whis and Beerus were terrified about the key they just sensed on Namek. Their reactions were even worse than when they met with the King of All. Both the God of Destruction and his guide angel were pale and trembling. Even after they were back home, Vegeta watched at them in complete disgust as he asked, "Hey, you two alright?" Beerus grabbed the sides of his head, teeth chattering as he whined. What is he doing in here?" he stammered. "Out of all the universes, why here?" Perhaps King Mu must have heard about your lazy reputation. That's why he's... It cannot be! That's never happened before! Or maybe he heard us about... That's even more impossible! Vegeta just watched as both Beerus and Whis, as if they're the craziest people around. "Hey, just who the hell is that?" Vegeta demanded. Beerus was instantly on his face, yelling at him. "Shut up, rat! Don't you dare open that mouth of yours and ask questions!" Whis shook his head in disapproval, and he explained, "That key we sensed back on planet Namek belongs to the King of Nothingness, King Mu, the counterpart of King Zen. Just as how each of the universes has a creator and a destroyer, King Zen and King Mu are the 2 sides of the same coin. So, there's also a destroyer in this multiverse level," Vegeta added. Yes, unlike the universe level destroyer who was once a mortal who ascended to godhood and immortality, King Mu is a literal god that existed since the beginning of time, along with King Zen himself. He is able to obliterate entire universes on a whim. He is also responsible for the erasure of the other 6 universes. He used to have 18 universes before. Vegeta couldn't believe what he just heard. He did what? Aside from that, he also supervises the works of the deities of the universes. If he finds anyone unworthy of the position, or if anyone isn't doing his duties properly, he will erase that deity without any question. He is known to be extremely ruthless and a berserker god. He's even more feared than King Zen because of it. I guess he is a prime example of what mortals usually say as, let sleeping gods lie in its literal sense. Then, shifting his eyes over to Beerus with a knowing look, Vegeta cackled. I think you really did it this time, Beerus-sama. Beerus screamed at him, harshly grabbing Vegeta's collar and snarled at him. Shut up, Saiyan! There must be another reason! Vegeta smirked back at him, slapping Beerus' hand away from him, as if suddenly telling the god not to touch him with his disgusting hands. What else could be the reason, I mean, aren't we the lowest universe at the mortal level? It's because you're always eating and napping all the time. Now you'll be in big trouble for this. Beerus shook him. What the hell, Vegeta? How dare you talk to me like that? Vegeta shrugged, darting his eyes on the side of a silent snort. Just saying the truth, he grumbled with a frown. A sudden, powerful gust of wind blew around him, and it effectively halted Beerus' screaming at Vegeta's face, sparing the Saiyan Prince tantrum. Beerus and Whis stood in attention. Obviously tensed, Vegeta turned his head to the direction where the wind came from, and finally saw what this king of nothingness looked like. He was incredibly massive, standing nearly 10 feet and burly. He wore some kind of full-body metal evil armor from his head to his toe. That's red and black in color, with a character that meant nothingness painted on the center of his chest plate. He seemed to be wearing a creepy-looking red Kishin-no mask, where Vegeta could see a pair of glowing yellow eyes from the holes in his eyes. He looked nothing like King Zen at all. And just like how Whis described him, Vegeta could sense an intense, destructive godly power within him that's even more powerful than what he had seen from Beerus and Whis. No wonder why both Whis and Beerus were so terrified of him. Good day, King Mu. How can we help you? Beerus asked, tweaking out of his fear. He was sweating and visibly shaking. Behind him, Vegeta rose from the ground and simply stood there in silence, peeking from behind the Hakaya shed. Because he was wearing a mask, Vegeta couldn't tell King Mu's expression at all. The King of Nothingness seemed to regard them in silence, before finally speaking in a very deep but powerful voice. The destined strong one, bring him to me. Huh? Beerus blinked. Destined strong one? Whis repeated, blinking his pale, violet eyes in confusion. Bring me the destined strong one. I wish to fight him, King Mu ordered them. Who is that? Vegeta asked Whis and Beerus in a low voice. Who is that? Oh, apologies, Your Majesty, but we have no idea who this destined strong one is, Beerus said. A low, animalistic growl seemed to emanate from King Mu's throat. Bring him to me, he roared. The air started to crackle around him, causing the three to step back in terror. But we... Beerus shrieked. I said, bring him to me now, or I will obliterate all of you! Beerus staggered, turning his head to his comrades. This is bad. Oh, I'm glad this isn't because of me. If we do not bring him what he wants, we're still going to be obliterated, he hissed at Whis and Vegeta. What are you waiting for? Bring me the destined strong one, King Mu demanded once more. I have no freaking idea who he's looking for, Beerus whined frantically, looking like he was about to go crazy from the stress. Getting more agitated by each second, I can feel his lust for battle. It's quite similar to that of a Saiyan, but much intense. It's uncontrollable. He should hurry, or else he will start rampaging, Vegeta warned. Maybe I should. No! Stop, Vegeta! Beerus hissed at him. He won't fight you even if you challenge him in battle. Vegeta scowled at Beerus, feeling offended by him stopping him from the fight. Why? You're going to destroy me that easily. King Mu will never do that. He cannot harm mortals. It is outside of his duty to bestow obliteration upon mortals alone, as it is the job of a god of destruction to destroy them. But didn't you mention that he could obliterate an entire universe? That should include mortals, right? Well, that's not directly done. Remember when I told you about the balance of the universe? Where is he? Where's the destined strong one? Bring him to me now! Roared King Mu, cutting Whis' explanation. Suddenly his ki skyrocketed, causing a powerful shockwave to blow the three of them away. What the? King Mu, his patience running thin, started to go into a rampage. With a mere burst of his energy, he began to obliterate things around him. It's bad! Beerus gritted his teeth together as he watched King Mu go into a berserk rampage. Whis! Yes, my lord? Whis squeaked. Take Vegeta with you and make your preparations. I will try to hold him off until it is time. Go now! Wait, are you serious about fighting him alone? Vegeta asked, grabbing Beerus by his arms. Beerus pulled his arms away from Vegeta's grasp and pushed him towards Whis. Go! Beerus and Whis gave each other knowing looks, and Whis grabbed Vegeta as if the same was just a ragdoll toy. Then carried him over his shoulders like Vegeta was a sack of rice, effectively pulling him away from the god of destruction. Like a child being forcibly separated from his parent, Vegeta tried to pull away from Whis and grab Beerus with him, but Whis started to run in the opposite direction. Wait, Whis! What the hell? Beerus, are you both crazy? Why? You're not leaving to fight that bastard alone. He's going to be... Vegeta screeched. Vegeta, son, calm yourself and forget about Beerus-sama for now. What matters is your survival. Who the hell cares about that? We should go back and fight that bastard together. I'm no coward. I won't run away like this. Let me go! Vegeta was wildly struggling to get himself free from Whis' grip, screaming and crying like a child. He was punching and kicking desperately to let himself go, but Whis was unfazed by his tantrums. Once they were inside the castle, Whis finally dropped Vegeta to the floor, and for the first time, the guide angel slapped the Saiyan hard across the face. This effectively shut the prince up. Vegeta's fierce glare softened when he found Whis' intense gaze leering down at him. Now, Vegeta-san, Whis told him firmly, his usually gentle gaze now glaring at Vegeta hard. If you wish to save Beerus-sama out there, listen to me well. Beerus-sama is trying his best to hold off King Mu out there for your sake, to buy time for you to make your preparations. The time of your training is done. It is time for you to take up the mantle of the seventh universe's god of destruction. Vegeta lowered his eyes, biting his lower lip in his hesitation. What? Is it that soon? He certainly didn't expect this coming. He frowned, feeling aggravated. He never wanted to do this. He didn't want this. He has not made his decision to become a god of destruction yet. He was feeling angry about this sudden turn of events. Thank goodness Whis didn't see this hesitation as Yorgengyo came in. The Oracle Fisher's bowl floated towards them.
Huh? Is it that time already? I'm sure I will miss Beerus around here,
she said. It seems so, Yorgengyo, Whis told her as he turned towards her direction. There was a shocking explosion sound near them, and then they heard a familiar voice screaming and ranting as the owner came closer to them. Oh, what a surprise! Shamba-sama is here, Whis said. Shamba, the god of destruction of the sixth universe, who looked like a fat version of Beerus, entered the hallway, led by his guide Vados. Hey, Whis, what the hell is happening here? Why did King Mu appear on the seventh universe, huh? Where the hell is Beerus? He demanded. I'm not sure of the details, but King Mu was looking for someone. A certain destined strong one, he mentioned, Whis replied. Destined strong one? What the hell is that? Shamba asked in confusion. Whis shrugged his shoulders. Who knows? Anyway, Beerus-sama is currently fighting King Mu as we speak. What? He's fighting King Mu? He's crazy! What the hell is he doing? He cannot do that! He is an idiot! Shamba was screaming. Vegeta frowned upon hearing Shampa's words. He wanted to defend Beerus' honor, but Whis spoke for. Relax, he's just buying time, Shamba-sama, Whis tried to assure the sixth universe's god of destruction. Don't you dare tell me to relax when Beerus is out there about to be obliterated, Shampa yelled. Vados chuckled beside Shampa. Look at you, Shamba-sama. You worry about your twin brother too much. As if Shampa just realized he was doing something he shouldn't be doing, he turned around with a pout of his chin raised in the air, huffing hotly. Don't get the wrong idea, Vados. I'm not worried about him. I'm just worried that our universe may get into a crossfire and be obliterated as well. If he gets obliterated by the king of nothingness out there. Worry not, Shamba-sama. It will be safe once Vegeta takes up the mantle. We are making our preparations now, Whis assured once more. Shamba shot his eyes towards the Saiyan, who was looking at Whis as if the guide angel had just lost his mind. Really? Wait a minute, I don't remember agreeing to any of this, Vegeta retorted furiously. Don't tell me that you haven't made your decision yet, Shampa asked him. Vegeta turned his angry eyes at Shampa and told him nonchalantly, no. What? Shampa screamed in disbelief. Oh shit! Now we're done for! He suddenly went up to Vegeta's face, harshly grabbed him by the shoulders and shook him. Just what the hell is wrong with you, Saiyan? Are you crazy? Take your filthy hands off of me, you bastard! Vegeta warned him. How dare you talk to me that way, Saiyan? Do you wish to be destroyed? Shampa threatened. Why, you selfish, impotent, prideful little shit! Do you even know what you're doing? He yelled at the Saiyan's face furiously. If I were you, I would not talk to him like that, Shamba-sama, Vados suggested. You won't be able to convince him that way, else you only worsen the situation. I know that, Shampa sneered, roughly pushing Vegeta off him. He turned his fierce glare to the mortal. Listen to me, Saiyan. Your pride would mean nothing if everything gets obliterated here, and if everything gets obliterated by the king of nothingness just because of this damn indecision of yours. I will never forgive you. Do you understand? Vegeta gave Shampa a puzzled look. Huh. Whis cleared his throat. To explain, Shamba-sama was saying that if Beerus-sama is obliterated by King Mu out there without a proper replacement to his position as a god of destruction, the balance of this universe will fall, and so this universe will be destroyed along with him. And since Shamba-sama's sixth universe is the parallel world that is mirroring the seventh universe like a twin, If the 7th universe gets obliterated by King Mu, so as the 6th universe, this is exactly how the 6 other universes were wiped out of existence. Upon hearing Whist's words, Vegeta shouted in complete disbelief. What? Now do you understand how crucial your decision is? Champa said. Look around you, Saiyan. Beerus is out there sacrificing his life to buy you the time, and yet here you are wasting it with your doubts and indecision because of that damn pride of yours. Snap out of it, would you? As I said, your pride would mean nothing if you and everything around you gets obliterated. Do you want that to happen? He shouted. Vegeta's scowl deepened. Dark eyes narrowed into slits of anger. He gritted his teeth together and closed his hands to fight with tight fists on his lap. Once again, his resolve with holding into his pride and personal ideals was being challenged by his desire to survive, or rather, exist in his world. He was sure he was determined not to accept the role of God of destruction as soon as possible. He doubted he's ready enough to take on the mantle, since he's not yet willing to give up his mortal Saiyan heritage and pride for the power of immortality. Just as he told Beerus earlier after his battle with Frieza, Vegeta darted his eyes to the side and snorted haughtily in the air. Then that's just fate. What? Champa sneered, looking like his butt was just pricked by a needle. Whis exhaled in expiration, and Yongengo let out a whine. Beside Champa, Vada sighed as she shook her head. She saw that look of pure determination and anger on the Saiyan, and she knew that Champa was only making things even worse. She stooped closer to Champa and whispered, "Told you, you won't be able to convince him that way. My lord, you only agitate him even further." Champa fumed furiously. His fists were shaking on his sides. He couldn't believe how prideful, stubborn, and selfish this damn Saiyan could be. Fate, you say? Champa seethed. Fate? This isn't supposed to be your fate. Whis, didn't you say your pet fish had foreseen this Saiyan taking up Beerus' place one day and becoming the strongest among us? Is that all a lie to save your asses from King Zen's wrath? Hey, that was uncalled for! The Genjo screamed. Oh my goodness! He gasped. Champa-sama, you weren't supposed to say that in front of the subject, he scolded. Who cares? It was all a lie anyway, Champa retorted. They found Vegeta staring at them with wide eyes. What did you just say? He asked breathlessly. Vados and Whis gave Champa a knowing look before Whis explained, since there's no way they could lie about it any further. Remember, I made an assurance to the King of All about your decision to take the position of the 7th universe as God of destruction. I showed him the prediction the Oracle Fish told me about. And if I don't follow through that prediction, does that mean that Beerus is going to be obliterated by that bastard? Simply his fate, Gengo said. It is also your fate to rise after him, to become stronger than him and everyone else. Me, stronger than everyone else? Whis and Gengo turned to each other. The Oracle Fish nodded at the guide angel as if permitting him to continue. Of course, but that would eventually change if you do not make a decision soon, Whis said. Your choice is crucial for this prediction to happen. That's why the Oracle Fish's prophecy is very subject to changes. Vegeta lowered his eyes, contemplating his choices. He considered Champa's earlier words about how his pride wouldn't matter if everything gets obliterated by the King of Nothingness. If it is true that the Oracle Fish saw him become the strongest among all, then that means... He turned his head towards where he could sense King Mu and Beerus' battle was happening. Hey, I think I know who exactly this bastard's looking for. Beerus was sent flying backward for several miles after he took King Moo's punch head on, despite finally using his full power against the multiverse-level deity, who was completely outmatched. Beerus was badly beaten, and he knew that he won't last much longer. Just what the hell has taken Vegeta and Whis so long? King Moo appeared and sauntered towards him. The King of Nothingness kept on demanding him about the destined Strong One, which Beerus admitted so many times that he had no knowledge about. King Moo was already blinded by his desire to fight this warrior, and he couldn't even think straight. If you cannot bring me the destined Strong One, then it's time for you to be destroyed, King Moo said in a deep, bored tone. He raised his massive arms and begins to charge a spear of obliteration. Beerus chuckled to himself. Perhaps this was truly his end. He felt honored to be obliterated by none other than the King of Nothingness himself. He stood his ground, his spear gone with the wind the powerful spear was giving off. He was ready. As the King Moo fired the obliterative orb of energy, Vegeta teleported right in front of Beerus and caught the spear with his hands. King Moo was taken by surprise by this, and he decided to pull the energy back, causing it to explode into heaps of energy, but not enough to harm the mortal. What the hell are you doing here, Vegeta? Beerus demanded him. Vegeta ignored Beerus as he addressed the King of Nothingness directly, declaring with the imperious tone of a royal crowned prince destined to become a powerful king. Calm down, Moo. The destined Strong One you are looking for will come to you soon. As a Saiyan, I know exactly how you are feeling right now. You want to fight this warrior in order to saturate your lust for battle, right? For you to test your unfathomable strength against this warrior. You wish to have a good fight with him. Fine, I understand you well. I will bring this warrior to you. Just wait a little more and leave Beerus or anyone in this universe alone. I promise you that I will be that warrior you're looking for, the destined Strong One. If a fight with the strongest is what you truly want, then I will give you the fight you are craving for. Yes, the strongest one you seek is standing right before you. Just you wait. I will rise and become the new god of destruction of this universe. Then, and only then, we could go all out with each other, and you will get what you want. King Moo stared at the mortal, pondering, observing him, and probably trying to sense his power or his fighting spirit to gorge it. You are the destined Strong One, he asked. That's right. I will become the strongest among all, Vegeta responded confidently. King Moo didn't answer for about 10 seconds, considering before finally calming down. I see. What is your name, destined Strong One? Vegeta Yonsai. Make sure you remember it well. Vegeta Yonsai, huh? See. Very well. Go on and proceed to the ritual. I will be waiting. Vegeta nodded in agreement. He turned to Beerus and assisted him back to the castle. Vegeta made the perfect plan. He knew that King Moo doesn't directly harm mortals, so he used that knowledge to his advantage. Vegeta made the perfect plan. He knew that King Moo doesn't directly harm mortals, so he used that knowledge to his advantage, Whis commented. You predict this too, Yogenko. That is why you chose to reveal to him the prophecy. I did, Yogenko said, giggling. If puffing up Vegeta's pride would help save the universe, then why not? He winked. So, you have made your decision, Beerus asked Vegeta as they entered the castle. Vegeta lightly snorted back. Don't get the wrong idea. Between being destroyed of my existence or throwing away my pride and my principles as a Saiyan warrior, I'd rather keep my existence if it meant that I would get a chance to one day redeem what I've lost by fulfilling the oath I made to myself. It has nothing to do with you or this entire universe being threatened to be obliterated. Plus, I was curious about just how strong that bastard truly is. You know that if you do not satisfy King Mu at all, you will still get obliterated, and this universe will too if you do not have anyone to pass the torch to. Like I would let that happen. I wouldn't be obliterated without a fight, just as how you almost did, Vegeta told him with a crooked, determined smirk. Even if we get obliterated in here, at least we fought with everything we had. I'm proud of being a protege of someone who understands what pride and honor means to a warrior. Thank you, Beerus-sama. I'm going to have Kaioshin-sama to come over, Whis said when Vegeta and Beerus finally arrived at the door outside the sacred pantheon where Whis, Yogenko, Champa, and Vados waited. Beerus-sama, please prepare Vegeta for the ritual. I've already assembled the setup on the sanctuary. Yeah, Beerus said. Champa, what are you doing here? Were you just seriously worried about me and you miraculously decide to come over and visit me? I came to watch your ass get obliterated by King Mu. Huh, Champa said. Too bad the Saiyan brat got in the way of a good show. Says the one who was about to cry earlier just to beg me to make my decision, Vegeta muttered. Shut up, Saiyan brat! Nobody's asking for your opinion, Champa yelled. Hey, Lucis. Vegeta stuck out his tongue and Champa returned it. The two teased each other like they're little children. Vados sighed. For some reason, she could see Beerus in Vegeta's childish antics to Champa. Tell you the truth, we came here because Champa-sama was so worried about you, Beerus-sama, Vados said. Fuck you too, Vados, Champa shouted. What, are you expecting me to believe that you're just worried about our universe when you knew exactly what Vegeta-san would do? You're worried about Beerus-sama, that's all. Champa grumbled in annoyance. Vegeta laughed at his face. Beerus chuckled. I'm glad to notice, Champa. Thank you, he said with a smile. Champa continued to grumble as a response. Beerus turned to Vegeta. That's enough, Vegeta. Come with me. Vegeta ran behind Beerus, giggling. Beerus told Vegeta to follow him inside a room. Take all your clothes off, Beerus instructed. Vegeta removed his armor first. His gloves, his boots, his long-sleeved shirt, his pants, and his underwear, without any word. While Vegeta was doing that, Beerus was telling him what he must do during the ritual. When you step into the ritual platform, you must make a declaration that you are willing to take on the mantle of God of Destruction. After the divine contract is made, the divine powers of the God of Destruction will enter your body. It is going to be an agonizing process, as your mortal shell will be transformed into an immortal and godly body. Your powers would surge out of control as this happens, but do not worry about this. Keep your mind focused on destruction alone and nothing else. Jin will be standing right behind you, as both your energies and existences will be bonded together. You understand? Vegeta nodded. Yeah. The silence between the two, as Beerus simply gazed down at the Saiyan Prince. In his heart, he felt bad for Vegeta. He was well aware that the Saiyan was being forced to do this, and he knew that Vegeta could have been free from the cursed fate that was about to come to him, if not for King Mu's unexpected appearance. Beerus did his best to swallow the uncomfortable lump forming in his throat, and ignore the stinging sensation in his yellowish cat eyes. Very well then, let's go, Beerus said. Before he stepped out the door, Beerus turned his head over his shoulder and forced himself to give Vegeta a look. Oh, and I'm sure that the sacred garment of the Hakaishin would look great on him. Vegeta rolled his eyes. Of course it would look good on him, given his sexy, muscular build and overwhelming confidence. What else would Beerus expect from a Saiyan royalty? Let's just get this over with before I change my mind. Beerus opened the door leading to the Pantheon. Inside the Pantheon was dark. The place was only lit up by a few torches with purple-colored flames. They were attached to 10 pillars, surrounding a circular platform in the center. Within the platform, a lone but small purple flame burned like a fireball. This is the place where the ritual to transfer the position of a god of destruction is done. On the side of the platform waited Whis, Shin, Champa, and Vados. Everything is complete. It is time for the sacred ritual to begin, Whis declared. Beerus-sama, you may please step within the platform and announce your resignation. Beerus nodded to Whis and he stepped into the platform. He allowed the ball of fire to touch him and immediately engulfed him with dark purple flames. Shin followed him from behind, but he didn't step into the platform. He stood right behind Beerus and held up his right hand so he could touch Beerus's. I'm ready when you are, Beerus-sama, Shin said. I, Beerus, the current god of destruction of the seventh universe, is declaring my renunciation to the position and is willing to transfer all of my divine powers of destruction and immortality to my successor, Prince Vegeta the Fourth of Planet Vegeta. It is my greatest pleasure serving the seventh universe for more than 200 million years. However, it is time for me to step down and allow a much worthy heir, a more powerful warrior than I ever was, to take this glorious position. Flame blazed larger, signifying the acceptance of Beerus's abdication. Not long after, Beerus stepped out the platform, completely naked. Divine garments and his powers as a Kaishin gone and taken from him. Whis attended to him, handing over a clean white robe for him to clothe himself with. Vegeta, you may proceed, Beerus, who was now a mortal, told his successor, tilting his head towards the blazing purple flame in the platform, burning bigger and brighter than earlier. Vegeta nodded in silence and he finally made his way to the platform, stopped next to Shin, staring intently at the burning blaze of divine flame before him. This is where his mortal life as a Saiyan warrior prince would end, and a new journey as an immortal deity responsible for death and destruction would begin. He closed his eyes and for the last time tried to remember every detail of his mortality, his life as a Saiyan warrior, the battles he had won, his pride and honor as the last crowned prince. He tried to remember every time he felt his Saiyan blood coursing through his veins, pumping with excitement, the thrill of a fight, the flow of his powers and the ecstasy it brought him, the wild Ozaru metamorphosis, the electrifying and violent legendary Super Saiyan transformation, calm and warm Super Saiyan God, the combination of both legendary and divine powers, Super Saiyan Blue, the intensity of his evolved Super Saiyan Blue form during the battle with Toggle, and his self-indulgent Ultra Ego form, which allowed him to get a taste of godly destructive powers while satisfying his own primal desires as a Saiyan warrior. Desire for greater power had brought him into a series of misfortunes, like losing everything he once had and cared about, changing a supposed protector into a destroyer of worlds. He couldn't help but think that perhaps becoming a god of destruction was truly his fate, because everything led up to this point, no matter how much he tried to run away from it. But considering Beerus's involvement with the strings of his fate, he wondered what could have happened. He never met Beerus, after all. He thought that perhaps he will still choose this path to power. A true Saiyan only thrives with greater strength and nothing else. Nothing more important to a Saiyan warrior but power itself. Become the greatest and test out his might against his opponents. A quest to prove his superiority. And here he is now, about to become the most superior being in his cosmos. Everything he ever wanted is right before his eyes, while he never wanted to become a god of destruction in the first place. He had no other choice but to do it, for the sake of his pride and his own existence. He stepped into the fire, and he felt Shin put his hand over his back. I'm ready when you are, Vegeta's son. Said. Let's see. Appropriate one. All right. Stand by. Yeah. Those who may not be known, just do this. Yep. Yep. One. E. Here. Make that. Alright, so we'll download now. Good. Click. Alright. Huh? There. Okay. Second and file. Stand by. That. Properties. And presto. Now then, let's continue, of course. Vegeta straightened himself and confidently declared in an imperious tone, I, the Crown Prince of the Saiyans of the 7th Universe, Vegeta the 4th, is hereby making an agreement to take up the mantle of the God of Destruction, following Beerus's abdication of the position. Take thy mortality, and allow thee to contain the divine powers of destruction. I hereby make thy contract at this moment, at this time. Let the new god of destruction rise within thee. Flame engulfed him from his feet upwards. Soon as he was done declaring these powerful words, and after he let go of all thoughts, only focusing his mind on destruction and nothing else, that's transformation. Transform and godly. Transform and godly. Could potentially be the thumbnail. It was unlike anything Vegeta had experienced before. The pain was even more intense than any of his previous transformations. It bewildered him so much that he was unable to stop himself from screaming and crying out in extreme agony. It felt as if he was being pierced by an infinite number of key beams, ripped apart, burning, shattering, breaking all at the same time. Through his veins could be flowing the most concentrated acid, scorching throughout every inch of him and set every cell of his ablaze. In his chest, the dark purple fire ignited, intensifying every sensation with each powerful beat of his frantic heart. Heart pounded rapidly and loudly inside his chest, and he felt as if it would burst out of his ribs at any given moment. It was more severe than the initial Zaru transformation or his Ultra Ego transformation. The force of his heartbeat was causing him to convulse so hard his eyes rolled at the back of his head and arched his back, levitating him off the ground as if his heart was pulling him upwards. Fire blazed hotter, and Vegeta's destructive powers surged out of control. The dark purple flames burst out from his every pore. A spiraling maelstrom of fire surrounded him that swirled upwards into the sky, completely obliterating the roof and causing a violent shockwave to rock the entire world up above them. The dark clouds swirled. Fearsome lightning rapidly strikes from them into the quaking ground below. His menacing ki spiked, and the clouds departed from the pillar of devastating energy. Outside the God of Destruction's homeworld, entire planets trembled. Several stars erupted, and a few galaxies got swallowed by black holes that appeared from the explosion of the stars. Both the mortal world, the underworld, heaven and hell, even space and time that's within this universe shook violently. The entirety of the seventh universe shuddered as every single core of each and everything that existed within it pulsed in recognition of its new destroyer. Vegeta felt this happening within him. His connection with all that consists this universe was established, giving him power above them all, power to destroy everything. His heart pounded even greater than before as the heat intensified into bewildering levels. Acidic feeling he had caused by the energy flowing within him slowly left his veins, only for it to be collected in his already blazing heart, causing its already frantic beat to go even faster and louder. Vegeta couldn't help the cries he was letting out. He thought he had exceptional pain tolerance. He was completely wrong. He couldn't take it anymore. This agony is just too much even for him to endure. He tried to ignore the pain, focusing his mind on destruction alone, but doing so only intensified this torture. He only hoped for this to end as soon as possible. Beerus, Shin, Wish, Champ, and Thanos watched as Vegeta's body abruptly glowed a deep purple light, and they heard his heart pound in a single sustained note until it gradually galloped to his final beat. Vegeta descended into the floor. The glow of his body faded to reveal a new destroyer deity. He was now donning Beerus's previous clothing, sacred garment of a god of destruction, the golden earring on his left ear, the thick necklace around his neck, armlets and bracelets around his muscular arms, the sky blue and black Egyptian waistcoat collar over his chiseled pectorals, sky blue baggy pants, a navy blue sash around his slim waist and below his stony abdominal muscles, the black drape with golden rims hanging in front of his waist, and the brown loafers on his feet between his legs. The brown furred monkey-like Saiyan tail waved lazily. Vegeta looked down at him for a moment, checking every part of him, suddenly thinking he wasn't burned to ashes, became as dark as charcoal from all that agony of burning he just experienced. He looked very much the same as he did as a mortal Saiyan, and he was glad when he found that his tail had fully grown. He turned his eyes to those who witnessed his ascension and gave them a proud smirk. A new god of destruction had finally risen. Here we go, final chapter. Chapter 11, finale, Vegeta, the god. Strength was the only thing that mattered in this world. Everything else was nothing but a delusion for the weak ones beneath the strongest. The strongest one stood above everyone else, was highly respected, feared, and hailed by them. The strongest ruled over everyone, and those beneath him served him. To become the strongest was his destiny. Vegeta lived with this belief of superiority for the entirety of his life. He was a highly prideful man who takes so much pride in his strength and power. He hated any thoughts of being weaker or inferior to anyone, and so he strived to become the strongest he could become. To become the strongest in the entire universe, he underwent harsh training for years to get to where he is now. Just as every time he reached a new level of strength, he would discover that there were more beings out there who were more powerful than he is. This was the devastating truth that Vegeta learned when he met the King of All, seeing as how King Zen was respected and hailed by everyone. And after meeting the King of Nothingness, King Mu, whom even the fearsome god of destruction Beerus-sama had been so terrified of, Vegeta realized that there were still beings with unimaginable power, greater than anything he imagined, and he never felt so small, so belittled in this world. All the years he had trained for to become the strongest still meant nothing in the presence of these multiverse-level gods. He hated this feeling of inferiority, and it made him feel that his pride was greatly insulted. Then,
it is also your fate to rise after him, become stronger than him and everyone else.
is what the Oracle Fish revealed to him in one of her odd premonitions. Saw him becoming stronger, more powerful than Beerus and everyone else. Vegeta wondered if that included King Zen and King Mu. He knew that this time prediction was what Whis had silently delivered to King Zen and saved them all from whatever destructive punishment they were all supposed to suffer back in the King of All's palace. Vegeta didn't know why and how easily he believed those words, and he just decided to take up the mantle of the god of destruction without second thoughts. All he knew was the fact that it would be such a waste for him to let that opportunity slip away if it was indeed true. He tried to convince himself that throwing his Saiyan pride and his mortal life away for this would be greatly paid off by a chance of regaining it back one day. Instead of letting himself be destroyed that easily without a fight, at least he would have no regrets. Still gets destroyed by the king of nothingness here, which he won't be allowing as much as he could help it. And so, Vegeta chose to become the god of destruction, be the destined strong one, in order for him to one day become the strongest and most fearsome deity in the multiverse. Legend of the God of Destruction, Part 11. Vegeta, the God. Incredible. So this is how it feels like to be a God of Destruction. That destructive power is insane. Vegeta thought to himself as he looked down his hands, amazed by the results of his ascension to the mantle of being the most powerful deity in the universe. He could feel his new divine powers course through him like a bottomless surge. It's overwhelmingly powerful. He knew that there's still much more deep within him, waiting to be unleashed in destructive bursts. It made him excited, his blood boiling and his primal urge to become wild like when he first became. But while he wanted to celebrate his ascension, he knew that he had a fight he promised to fulfill, being reminded of what that made him lose all that excitement while being the same he used to be. He was supposed to be looking forward to the big battle with King Buu, and for some reason it didn't feel right to him. Vegeta scowled as he turned his head to glare intimidatingly at where he could sense his waiting opponent. That bastard will make sure that he will make him pay for this. He put his right index and middle fingers at the center of his forehead and used his instant teleportation skill to appear to where King Mu was, surprisingly waiting for him patiently. Meadow filled with dry grayish-brown grass being blown by the cold wind. The destined strong one you are looking for is standing right before you. Vegeta declared this in a very cold tone. His dark glare was fierce and stern. King Mu turned to him, regarding his presence. The King of Nothingness could sense the quiet rage Vegeta was emitting, and it made him excited rather than be terrified. Finally, you have come, destined strong one. I've waited for so long to fight you. Now it is time to battle, King Mu exclaimed. Vegeta nodded at him with an austere gaze and fell into his signature fighting stance. I'm going to give you my all. I won't hold back. You better prepare yourself. Vegeta told him this. His mind, he wanted to teach this punk a lesson to never come here demanding things like this ever again. King Mu didn't bother doing the same. He just stood there like a towering statue of an almighty and unbeatable god of war as he instructed. That's right. I want you to fight me with your full strength. Give me the fierce battle that I'd seek for so many years. Vegeta gave King Mu a haughty smirk. Don't worry, I will. He disappeared from his position, moving with hypersonic speed towards King Mu, and gave the multiverse-level destroyer a mighty punch to the gut. This initially made the heavily armored deity astonished, because he had never seen a newly awakened god to be this strong. Using this opportunity, Vegeta unleashed a combination of rapid attacks to push the multiverse-level deity back. King Mu took all the mighty blows at first, allowing Vegeta to get the upper hand on him. until King Mu was able to block his fist, causing Vegeta to stop. Vegeta gasped slightly in surprise. So, how do you like the feeling that you have finally become a god of destruction, Vegeta, your son? King Mu asked with his deep voice. Vegeta scoffed. I'm not sure about that. What do you mean by you're not sure? King Mu seemed confused by this response. He didn't quite expect coming from someone with such desire for power. He could tell how much Vegeta Yonsei wanted to seek greater strength due to the indomitable fighting spirit he sensed radiating off him, even when he was still immortal. He doesn't understand why Vegeta wasn't feeling as ecstatic as he expected him to be after becoming the most powerful deity in this universe. The new god of destruction sneered bitterly. While I feel elated by this much power flowing within me, I am hating it. Hate myself for having thrown away what I am in order to gain this power. I hate it. I hate how I feel different. I hate that despite having done this, it's still not enough. I'm not satisfied. No, power is useless to me until I'm strong enough to reach my goal. Useless, huh? King Mu snorted, launching an attack of his own. Then a punch to Vegeta's solar plexus, effectively folding the god of destruction in half and sending him flying backwards. Then why did you throw away that pride of yours in order to become a god of destruction if you truly didn't want to let go? He asked. Vegeta did a graceful somersault in the air and landed on the ground, his brown boots skidding against the ground until he was finally able to stop his momentum. He raised his head to glare at King Mu, who was able to catch up to him so fast and was already standing 5 feet in front of him. Vegeta seethed as he wiped his lip with the back of his left hand. Lips then stretched into a smirk as he responded. Even if I tell you, you won't be able to understand what it means to lay down everything you have to protect something. I know that if I stayed stubborn, you will not stop your rampage looking for the destined stronger. If you manage to kill Beerus out there, this entire universe will be obliterated from existence. That, along with myself, I really couldn't care less about it. I was stubborn and adamant about my pride. But then I was told by the Oracle Fish that if I make my decision, I will become the strongest among all. There's nothing the Saiyan ever wants but to pursue greater strength above all. So that's why you chose this path. Strength is everything to a Saiyan warrior. We take pride in our strength. That's why even though I have given up my mortal life to protect my pride, I know that I am still the proud prince of all Saiyans. Saiyan who ascended to the realm of the gods and became the god of destruction. Strength, huh? Show me the strength you're so proud of, Vegeta Yonsei. The two exchanged mighty blows that created devastating shockwaves, which shook the cosmos. Aside from that, with every damage he received from King Mu's ferocious attacks, Vegeta would automatically regenerate from it, although he could feel the pain of each hit. The fact that he goes instant would cause his ki to swell greater than before. He realized that his Saiyan ability to grow more powerful every time he takes damage and heal from it retained, even though he had become an immortal deity. They eventually went up into the atmosphere until they reached outer space. Vegeta was astonished at the realization that he can stay and breathe in space too now, that he's immortal. A mortal Saiyan cannot breathe in space for very long, so he was amazed that he can finally fight wherever, however, and for as long as he wants. Surprising, huh? King Mu commented, noticing Vegeta's astonishment and his abilities. Yeah, I didn't expect immortality to be this astounding. Of course, the things that limit you when you are mortal have become unbound. You are a deity, so you are certainly above any mortal now. They continued fighting, yet despite Vegeta's persistence, King Mu was still more powerful than he ever was. Vegeta wondered if aside from this Saiyan ability he was able to retain, will he be able to transform to his Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan God forms? King Mu's gaze was serious and deadly. Is this all you got? He asked. Vegeta snorted lightly, giving King Mu a confident smile. I'm not done yet. He braced himself to power up, hoping to call out the powers of the legendary Super Saiyan within him. Ah! The universe rumbled as a flash of golden light radiated off Vegeta, lightening the darkness that surrounded him. Lightning. Below him, Shin, Beerus, and Champa covered their eyes from the light. He can still turn a Super Saiyan? What is the meaning of this? Gasped Champa. Whis nodded. It seems that Vegeta-sama had retained his abilities as a Saiyan, even after becoming an immortal god. I have never seen any god of destruction being able to hold the same abilities he had when he was a mortal, or abilities that changed to compromise the divine powers of destruction. Yes, just look at him. Just by becoming a Super Saiyan, he is shaking the entire universe. Some feat he was unable to do when he was a mortal. Power had risen that much. Just as Whis mentioned, Vegeta could feel his Super Saiyan power shaking the entire universe around him. His overwhelming energy surging within him was intense, continuously rising to a level he had never dreamed of, even greater than his ultra ego powers when he was immortal. The power radiating off him started to create waves of energy that reduced planets and asteroids to dust. Jin felt his creations being destroyed and he turned to Whis. Whis, this power is too much. If Vegeta-sama doesn't control himself, he will destroy this entire universe. We have to stop him, Shin shouted. Try to communicate with him. Both of you are connected, right? Whis suggested. Right. As Vegeta continued to power up, he heard Shin's voice in his mind, pleading. Vegeta-sama, can you hear me? Please control your power. If you continue powering up like that, you are going to destroy us all. What a bother, Vegeta said back at him, ignoring him. It's useless, Shin gasped. Vegeta's in the middle of a battle. He won't listen to reason, Whis said rather calmly. Why are you so calm right now? If he loses control out there, we'll all cease to exist, Shin told him anxiously. Whis simply smiled. I don't know. I just feel that everything is going to be alright. Vegeta let out a mighty scream to the stars. Ha! Vegeta's golden aura burst forth like a fierce flame, and his upright hair was glowing gold. The explosion of Vegeta's ki contained the might of a different dimension. A flash of light surged as a silent explosion expanded, causing everyone to cover their eyes within their forearm. The next instant, they found themselves within a dimension of swirling, strange lights. The boundary of the dimension could not withstand the energy released by the might of Vegeta's Super Saiyan power, but torn apart. Below them, their 5 audiences gasped in wonder as they saw the surroundings. What happened? Gasped Champa as he looked up at the strange terrain they were in. Hey, Whis! Isn't this the... Beerus panicked. That's right, this is a dimension beyond reality, space, and time. The entire universe could only handle as much power as it could, but it seems that Vegeta's power had already surpassed that limit. Just by powering up to a Super Saiyan, he was able to shatter the fragments of space and time, thus causing us to enter into an entirely different dimension. Does that mean the universe just got destroyed? Beerus asked. I don't think so, she said. I still feel the remnants of my creations within me. Still there. Chamber agreed. He can still feel the existence of his universe in him. My universe is safe too. I see. So Vegeta chose to break through reality itself and transport the fight into an entirely different dimension in order to protect the universe from being destroyed by the battle. Whis commented, smiled impressed. That's smart thinking. It seems he's able to understand the concept of reality when I sent him in the sacred space of spirit and time. That's why he was able to break through that dimension. Wait, did you just say he had broken out the sacred space of spirit and time on his own? Shamba gasped in disbelief. Yes, it was quite unexpected of him to do so, and to think he was still a mortal Saiyan in training to become the god of destruction yesterday. Never seen anyone with this much power, much less from a Saiyan, Shamba muttered, drawing his eyes back to the ensuing fray. Not even bothering with what just happened, Vegeta charged at King Mu, and they resumed their fight. A fierce close-range exchange had just begun. Both of them endured dimension-breaking attacks as they ceaselessly strike at each other without hesitation. King Mu was astonished by this sudden change in Vegeta's demeanor. God of Destruction was stronger than he was a few minutes before. This made his blood boil with excitement, wanting to fight this guy more. King Mu decided to instantly raise his power to defend himself from Vegeta's relentless assault. As King Mu released an explosive kick, the aggressive Vegeta rushed in without wincing. He landed a solid punch on King Mu's mask, but all he did was tilt the King of Nothingness' head, who then clenches his fist and drove it right into Vegeta's abdomen, folding him in half. Oh! In an instant, King Mu proceeded to land a solid kick on the stunned Vegeta, who staggered back, gagging saliva out of his mouth. King Mu then chased after the god of destruction, who was blown away and crashed into the walls of the dimension. Vegeta quickly moved away as King Mu tried to punch him. Vegeta yelled, causing a shockwave to push his belligerent opponent away. He roared lengthily once more, powering up. Vegeta's ki had changed in an instant. The aura surrounding his body had turned from gold to blue. He combined his Super Saiyan God powers with his current form, thus transforming into his Super Saiyan Blue form. Right there. We go to guys, guess we'll go with oh yeah, that's a good one. Right? Easy. Okay, let's lagging behind because I've got it live on the YouTube as well, watching. Right then, file 6. One, two, browse. Like I already have these tracks somewhere, but you know, to make it simplistic on it, simplify it, just use that as a basis to adjust it accordingly. Music is the perfect volume. I don't, whoops. Okay, now let's continue. Vegeta quickly moved away as King Mu tried to punch him. Vegeta yelled, causing a shockwave to push his belligerent opponent away. He roared literally once more, powering up. Vegeta's ki had changed in an instant. The aura surrounding his body had turned from gold to blue. He combined his Super Saiyan God powers with his current form, thus transforming into Super Saiyan Blue evolved form. Is this all? Mu asked him coldly. Vegeta was insulted by his adversary's words. Suddenly, he was sent flying backward by a powerful punch he received on the face, and then another on his back, and another on his chest. He felt several of his bones shatter at the force of Mu's hits, and Vegeta had to scream in pain. The King of Nothingness didn't show him any mercy at all as he beat the new God of Destruction to a pulp relentlessly. Vegeta tried to defend himself and attempted to attack back, but Mu would either easily break through his defenses or gracefully dodged with unbelievable speed. But even though Vegeta was being pushed back by the King of Nothingness' mighty assault, which was getting more and more pursuant with each hit, he felt excited by it. But beside him, he could feel his fiery fighting spirit blaze hotter. With each damage he received and instantly recover from, it burns greater. He took all potent hits, barely trying to dodge or block them just so this bastard won't get a clue of his plan. See, this is how it feels when you become an immortal god, Vegeta thought to himself, power swelling inside of me. It's more intense than when I used Ultra Ego back when I was immortal. He was ceaselessly building up within me, and instantly, this is what Beerus meant. Found power. King Mu rushed once again. Vegeta simply let the attacks damage him. Of course, Vegeta would try to fight back, but still, it's futile against the King of Nothingness' mighty assaults. Power's not enough to match him at all. His bastard's power is unbelievable. It truly isn't on another level. I wonder how long I could keep this until I'm more than strong enough to overpower him. Even if he is a multiverse level deity, there has to be some kind of weakness in him. The question is, how is it? Vegeta crashed into the dimension wall once more, breaking through it. The surroundings broke like shattering glass and Vegeta plummeted into a planet's crater. Face first, King Mu finally halted his attacks and landed next to him, leering down at him with cold, golden eyes. I guess I was wrong about you, Vegeta, young Sai, King Mu said, expressing his disappointment on the one who claimed to be the destined strong one. Vegeta only twitched under his foot, not because of the pain. He was instantly healed from all that by his immortality, after all. He was twitching because he couldn't help the feeling of excitement caused by the new power pumping within him. King Mu held up his hand and created a spear of obliteration. Vegeta rose from the ground, suddenly gorging at his new power with his opponents. No, not yet. This still isn't enough, he thought to himself. He gritted his teeth together and braced himself, glaring at the spear of obliteration his opponent just created, and he knew that it packed a more intense power than that of what he had seen before. Things more than capable of eliminating immortal gods and obliterating a whole universe from its existence. He swallowed. He wondered if he could resist this one like how he did with Toppo when he was still immortal, despite having something more intense and packs more power than the typical spear of destruction he had seen so far. King Mu unleashed a more concentrated spear of obliteration, with much more powerful than what the gods of destruction use, towards Vegeta, and it hit him directly. Vegeta tried to defend himself, catching the spear in his hands. He was unable to hear Beerus screaming at him not to block it. It was a great miscalculation on Vegeta's part. The attack was indeed more intense than Beerus or Toppo's spears of destruction. When he thought he could block the attack, he became wide open. King Mu used this opportunity to smash his fist into Vegeta's stomach, causing him to stagger backward in shock. It was already too late for him to try to move away, and before he knew it, the spear of obliteration hit him. Vegeta's eyes snapped open, and he opened his mouth to let out a blood-curdling scream of pure agony as the King of Nothingness power of obliteration engulfed him completely. Ah! Wah! Ah! Purple energy hurled the god's destruction upwards as his cries of torture intensified. Vegeta tried to resist as much as he could, forcing him to change to his Ultra Ego form, but this power of obliteration is more hellacious than what he had encountered before. He had no idea if he could keep up even with his Ultra Ego powers or his destructive Saiyan instincts. Not even his powers as a new god of destruction were enough to make him fight back this much power of obliteration. He only had his pride, his willpower, his stubborn persistence, and his determination to exist and not allow himself to be defeated this easily to push him to fight back. In his mind, his memories of his life in this universe flashed randomly. Pictures of his childhood in his home planet. The pain of losing everything he once swore to save and protect gnawed at his heart. The sufferings he endured under Frieza's reign. The grueling training he went through. And the sacrifices he had made for him to reach where he is now. All of these will become useless, utterly destroyed with himself if he loses here. Be his end? Vegeta still refused to give up. He made a promise to Beerus that he would not let this universe be destroyed by this damn bastard. He will never lose here no matter what. If anyone's going to be destroyed here, it's going to be... King Mu raised his right hand and clenched into a tight fist as he declared, "Obliterate! No, 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 no!" Vegeta's blood-curdling scream of agony was muffled by the eruption of destructive energy. It shook the entire planet of darkness and its neighboring worlds. Several feet away, Whis and Bardos combined their angelic powers to create a barrier to protect themselves, along with Beerus, Shin, and Shamba from the devastating shockwaves of the explosion. Didn't mix of it. Let's extend. It's just By all means, if you made it this far, like if it pleased you, or if it pleases you, because I'm still ongoing, right? And of course, your newcomer subscribe. You indeed dare desire for more. Done. Here. Media file 7. Right then. Because I had no idea what to expect in this chapter, so, if I knew, of course I would have planned the music ahead now, wouldn't I? But it's fine. It's just, a couple minutes of a reprieve. Right there. Alright. So, and of course, we shall continue. When the dust and smoke cleared, the attack caused Vegeta to be wasted. Saiyan, who had become a god of destruction, fell to his knees on the ground. Ultra Ego transformation gone, his black eyes were soulless and blank, and his mouth gaping open. Then his head slumped forward. He was utterly defeated here. King Mu stared at Vegeta in silence. In his suddenly confused mind, he was wondering about how Vegeta managed to nullify, being obliterated from his existence. Aside from that, he could feel the Saiyan's ki spiking greatly. He watched as Vegeta's immortality automatically regenerated all of his injuries. He was astonished by how much power he was sensing rising from him. Why are you restraining yourself, Vegeta Yonsai? Asked King Mu. I can easily tell what you've been planning all along. The destined strong one has unlimited power. The more he fights, the stronger he becomes. You knew you were no match against my great power, so you used the opportunity you had to your advantage. I've seen you fight against a candidate for the position of God of Destruction, the 11th universe, and against that one who called himself Emperor of this universe. You've used the same strategy to make yourself stronger until you are able to overwhelm them. You've already mastered the forbidden secret of self-indulgence technique. Now, why won't you release that power? I want to see that new power you gained throughout our fight. Show me. Vegeta picked himself up, his head still bowed. Don't know. Guess it's because for the first time in my life, I was truly afraid of myself. In a low voice. King Mu started to scoff. You are afraid of yourself. Why? Power's too much for me to handle. I'm afraid if I lose control, I might do the same thing I'm trying to stop you from. Is that so? Even after becoming a god of destruction, you still think of these unnecessary things, King Mu said. A god of destruction should always think of nothing but destruction itself. Forget about other things, like protecting this universe or saving anyone. You are a destroyer and you must act like one. If you truly wish to do this, then focus your mind on destruction alone. For example, your desire to destroy me. That way, all your destructive powers are focused on one thing, the only thing you wish to destroy. Kira-sama is receiving training from King Mu, Vados said, causing Beerus and Champa to look at her in astonishment. He had never done this to anyone, Perhaps he could see some potential within the Saiyan, Shempa said. He began to sweat as he gulped fearfully. But I didn't expect that Vegeta could master the forbidden secret of self-indulgence technique. I'm terrified to think about just how much is the full extent of Vegeta's divine destructive powers now. I can't understand why he's afraid of releasing it. Try it. Go on and unleash your power, King Mu encouraged. Don't be afraid of this power. I am here. Focus on me. Think that if you do not stop me, I will destroy you and this universe. Think about destroying me and focus your power on that desire. Hearing this, Shin started to tremble in fear for what's about to happen if Vegeta chose to follow that instruction. Is King Mu serious? If Vegeta somehow powers up to his full strength, this entire universe is doomed, he gasped. Vegeta finally raised his head to give King Mu a determined glare, nodding in agreement. He braced himself to power up to his Ultra Ego form, flexing his arms on his sides, bent his legs, and continuously roared as he finally unleashed his full power. This time, despite Vegeta doing this, the universe was calm. No planet shook, no star had exploded, no black holes or supernovas were created. Instead, King Mu was the one experiencing the ominous effects of this rising destructive power. He could feel the invisible waves of ki radiating off Vegeta, pushing him away from the destroyer deity. Everything within him seemed to pulse and shake due to recognizing that ominous great power of destruction being focused on him. Despite this, he was laughing. Good, good, now you are learning, King Mu grinned at Vegeta, impressed. Vegeta bathed in his purple flame aura after unleashing his full strength, disappeared from where he stood and charged at King Mu with a more serious demeanor. As their fists collided with each other, the walls of dimension broke once more and they found themselves in a dimension of swirling strange lights again. There, King Mu and Vegeta exchanged a fierce flurry of attacks, even more intense than what they did a few moments ago. Vegeta could tell that King Mu's finally fighting him seriously, and he was amazed by the rapidly growing strength within him as he fought without holding back, without thinking of anything else but destruction itself, the destruction of his opponent. This is his Saiyan destructive fighting instinct and control, and he never felt this wild, so great, so elated like this in a battle before. He could clearly see and predict King Mu's ultra-high speed, potent moves, and he was able to dodge on time. Vegeta swept his leg to kick at King Mu sideways. He managed to block it with his forearm. Vegeta spun around with his spinning kick to hit King Mu's head. He got blocked again by the other forearm. Vegeta sneered in annoyance as he dodged an uppercut, but was sent flying sideways up by a kick, breaking his ribs. Vegeta realized that King Mu had powered up again, and he fled his ki to stop his momentum in the air. His immortality automatically healed the damage he just received from that blow. Vegeta let out a beastly roar like an Ozaru announcing his bloodlust, powering up once again and unleashing the new level of power he just got from that. But King Mu was able to teleport right behind him and crushed his skull with a mighty double axe handle attack. Vegeta plummeted down, and again his immortality regenerated him instantly. He let out the additional power it gave once more. He attacked King Mu again. This time, Vegeta was able to hit King Mu's mask and they exchanged blow per blow. An equal battle flared between them this time. Vegeta was slowly keeping up with King Mu. Vegeta could feel his ki rising rapidly as he fought, his burning fighting spirit blazing even further. He felt great. He loved it. Soon he was laughing, enjoying the fierce ultimate battle of his life. King Mu laughed with him, also exultant. Good, good, you're doing great, Vegeta sighed. King Mu said as he was being pushed by Vegeta's relentless strikes as the god of destruction begins to overwhelm him. Now, go on and use that power of destruction, please. Hey, sis. Hope you're enjoying it thus far. Vegeta leaped back with a graceful flip in the air to distance himself from King Mu, and then he outstretched his right arm, his fingers spread out, his palm facing the king of nothingness. As Vegeta's magenta arises, irises glowed. King Mu felt something in his chest pulse as Vegeta made a connection in him, the pressure locking him in place. Then Vegeta closed his fist as he uttered in a cold voice, "Destruction!" Something burst within King Mu and it was reduced to heaps of energy. The impact had shattered the walls of dimension and then back in the original battlefield within the planet of darkness. But King Mu began to heal at an accelerated rate, much to Vegeta's surprise. What kind of monster is this bastard? He thought in utter disbelief. King Mu laughed. All right, that's enough, he chuckled, straightening himself. I acknowledge you. You are the first to defeat me. Vegeta's brow ridges furrowed. What? Feeling offended by that acknowledgement. This fierce battle was obviously far from over, but King Mu announced that he had enough and suddenly humbled and calmed himself to openly admit that he lost this fight. Vegeta's pride was insulted by this. He still had not enough. He wanted to make this bastard pay dearly for his mortality by destroying him completely. As if King Mu read his mind, he continued. Of course, this doesn't mean that you could destroy me. The power of destruction the gods of destruction possess doesn't affect immortals like ourselves. Only I have the power to obliterate immortals with my own power of obliteration. Still, you have defeated me in this battle. You have shown quite a surprising potential, Vegeta Yoksai. This is the first time I have seen a newly awakened god of destruction be this powerful. And there's no one among the immortals who could grow stronger as rapidly as you did. I am beginning to understand why you are the destined strong one, the one who will see all the deal. I congratulate you for defeating me. As recognition, I am giving you this gift. King Mu held up his hand. A square-shaped golden earring magically appeared on his palm. It's the same earring like the one on your left ear. But it is also a symbol of the one I acknowledge defeat. A divine artifact that can perform anything you want it to do. Now, Vegeta Yongsai, what would you want it to do for you? Vegeta stared at the earring for a few moments, pondering about what he needed. A limiter, Vegeta replied. I wanted to act as a restrainer to my growing destructive power. With me as a god of destruction now, I know that as my overwhelming destructive energy continues to grow more powerful, I might not be able to control it. I do not wish to accidentally destroy things. That's why I need a limiter. As you wish it. Golden earring glowed for a moment as Vegeta took it from Mu's hand to stick it over his left ear. Thank you. Very well, I shall take my leave. I truly enjoyed fighting you. Congratulations and welcome to your new life as an immortal god of destruction. I look forward to meeting you and fighting you again. King Mu blasted off in a bright white light similar to what Whis used in his hyperspace flight. He returned to the King of O's palace and he was greeted by Daishinken and the King of O's guards. Once he found his counterpart, King Zen asked him, Done already? Yeah, Vegeta Yonsei is now the god of destruction of the seventh universe, just as you wanted him to.
Good. Thanks for your help, Mu. I shall send him a gift as a grand welcome for him to renew life as a destroyer deity.
It's over. Shempa sighed in utmost relief now that he was assured that everything is safe. Thank goodness, I thought we were all going to be destroyed right there. Shin also sighed, wiping his forehead with the back of his hand. While the two of them were relieved, Yogengyo, Beerus, and Whis were silent as they gazed at Vegeta's back, who was standing still and staring into the skies where King Mu disappeared on the thing. You could tell the Saiyan was shaking in his frustration as he clenched his hands into fists. Sighed. Vegeta gritted his teeth together. Damn it all! He back to himself bitterly. Whis and Beerus decided to approach him. Vegeta sensed them drawing closer to where he stood, so he did his best to remain his composure and face them with a calm demeanor. We haven't gotten a chance to congratulate you on your ascension earlier, Beerus said. Just as I thought, you would make a fine destroyer. The sacred garment of the god of destruction looks perfect on you. You did a great job. You managed to impress both the King of Nothingness and the King of All with your performances in battle, a feat nobody had ever done before. I'm sure they will be expecting great things from you, Vegeta-sama, he said. Vegeta shrugged, feeling strange at the new way Whis addressed him now that he is the Guide Angel's master. I know, he said, finally turning to face them. Now then, it's time for you to finish the contract, Beerus told him. Finish the contract? How? By destroying me. Beerus' eyes widened at that. What? Beerus gave him a soft but emotional smile. That's alright. The very first thing you must do as a new god of destruction is destroy my existence. That way, you can give the divine punishment I deserve for what I did to you all those years ago. Don't you get it? I was saving what Frieza told you for this day. That talkative bastard just had to ruin this moment with his stupidity. Yes, aside from my duty as a god of destruction, I ruined your life just so you could hate me, to the point you would wish to destroy me, so that when you have finally become the god of destruction, you can have all the reasons to be able to do so, but then you seem to have forgotten that. Vegeta frowned, giving his master a cold glare. I did not forget, Beerus. Just came to understand that you were only fulfilling your duties. That's not all, Vegeta. There is also one thing I tried to hide from you. The very reason why I wanted to set you free before this mess with the King of Nothingness happened, Beerus revealed. Vegeta was confused. What do you mean? You want to set me free? Beerus nodded. That's right. When I ordered you to recollect the Dragon Balls for me, I was going to wish for the contract between us to be cancelled, so you can live your mortal life just as you wanted it to be. You see, becoming a god of destruction would lead you to have a cold, lonely life for all eternity. It's like letting yourself fall into an endless pit of repetitive cycles, where you only cause death and destruction wherever you go. You are not allowed to stop because it is your duty to bring balance to this universe. You must not feel emotions aside from your rage. It's a cold and cruel life you have to suffer alone for all eternity. The price you pay despite having no obvious consequences to you fulfilling your mere duty. Guilt, shame, remorse, hesitation, regret, sadness. You are not allowed to feel these things when you do your duty. Of course, at the beginning of your new life as a god of destruction, you may never feel these things. You will enjoy superiority among everyone. You are the most powerful being in this universe, after all. But in many years to come, you will realize that becoming the strongest in the universe is just sad and cruel. You'll become empty and cold, devoid of any emotions, only the wish to end this cycle by finding anyone even more worthy to replace you. That's exactly how I felt during these past 200 million years, at least until I met you, Vegeta. You were the one who fulfilled that very wish. Yes, I did ruin your entire life in my hopes of you taking away this heavy baggage I carry in my shoulders and my heart. I chose to sacrifice you so I could set myself free from all these things I refuse to recognize because I know that I am a god of destruction. But after you declared that you never wanted to become a god of destruction in front of the king of all, it made me realize how much I ruined you, and how much I will ruin your life even further if you indeed became one. For the first time in my 200 million years of being the god of destruction of this universe, I recognized guilt. I felt guilty for what I did to you. That's why I wanted to set you free. But fate had a different decision for you. Look at yourself. Look at where you are now. You have become a god of destruction indeed. For I was proven correct that you would make a fine destroyer, and that you would look good in those clothes. I still feel guilty about this. I have brought you to the inevitable. You wish to become the strongest in the universe. You wish to gain the powers of destruction for the sake of vengeance. This is the price you have to pay, and all these things happened because I ruined your fate for my selfish desires, for my entertainment, for me to end my suffering, and force you to have it all and suffer in my place. Your anger, frustration, hatred. Why won't you focus it all on your power of destruction and use it to destroy me? Avenge yourself, your pride, your people, and your kingdom. Give me the divine punishment. The oh, let's go. Beerus abruptly felt Vegeta embracing him into a hug. Son, father. Vegeta, Beerus whimpered. Vegeta pressed his forehead on Beerus' chest, trying to hide the tears flowing out of his eyes. Beerus could see him shaking, both in his frustration, anger, and his sadness. To hide the tears flowing out of his eyes. You are such an idiot, Beerus Summer. I've never forgiven you for what you did to me and my people, but I understand your reasons for doing it. Even after you have ruined my life, played the strings of my fate, and forced me to become a god of destruction to suffer in your place for all eternity, I still understand your reasons. I could always sense how much guilt you felt every time you faced me. No matter how much you tried to hide it and under your hardened resolve, I know, because despite everything, you chose me. You defended me in front of the other gods, laid your life before the king of all just to protect my pride and my honor. You believed in me and my abilities when the others looked down on me. You supported me and my ambitions, despite it being impossible to reach. You did it because you believed in something only I could do, and for that, I thank you. You may have ruined my life in exchange for something better. This is everything I've ever wanted in life, and I would choose this path no matter what. Here, just give it to me. Give me what I longed for this past 200 million years. Give me the peace I want to have. Please. Beerus sniffled, also in tears as he leaned his head over Vegeta's fluffy, spiky. Beerus felt Vegeta's embrace get tighter as the new god of destruction said, "You have incurred the wrath of the god of destruction, and now you shall receive divine punishment for your unforgivable sins. You have been judged, and therefore your existence shall be destroyed." The pressure Vegeta held on Beerus' soul was desperate and emotional. Destruction! Beerus felt Vegeta squeeze his fingers, and he felt himself slowly ceasing to exist. Beerus let out a satisfied smile as he slowly turned into dust particles. Thank you, Vegeta, for all the memories, for the moments you made my boring life enjoyable, even though you were such a pain in the ass to raise. I was glad to have met you. Pray that you may find someone to fill up that emptiness one day, just as how much you did to me. Thank you. And may you become the first god of destruction to bring a change to the mantle. Good luck, boy. Beerus turned his eyes to the man who served him during his reign and gave him a warm smile. Whis closed his eyes to give his respect and to hide the mourning and sadness. Whis, thank you very much for taking good care of me all these years. For all the learnings you have taught me and the patience you had when dealing with my tantrum. Then finally, Beerus turned to his twin brother. Champa, take care of yourself. I will leave Vegeta's guardianship with you and Bardos along with Whis. Please guide him in my place, like an uncle, nephew. Champa just huffed and gave him the middle finger as he childishly stuck his tongue out at him. Though, deep inside his tough heart, Champa was grieving for his older twin brother's destruction. Beerus vanished completely without leaving any trace behind. Vegeta was left on his knees, in tears and fear of the life ahead of him. He wanted to run away once more. But he knew that the agonized cries of his people would forever haunt him if he dared. Vegeta had no other choice but to accept this new life of his, endure it for all eternity. The other gods received the news of Beerus's destruction when Whis and Bardos reported to everyone that Vegeta had finally taken up Beerus's mantle. Despite most of them were all being rude and sharing animosity towards Beerus when he still existed, was their colleague. They were shocked by this devastating news. Someone asked why this happened so suddenly, and the two guide angels relayed the unexpected visit from King Mu, and the battle that occurred between the King of Nothingness, Beerus's protege, now the new god of destruction of the seventh universe. Vegeta, Yonsai. Everybody couldn't believe what they just heard about a newly awakened deity being so powerful he was able to defeat the most fearsome god in the multiverse. Soon after, King Zen invited all the deities to his palace to welcome Vegeta, the new god of destruction of Universe 7. It was there that before everyone's eyes they saw how the fearsome King Mu greeted and welcomed Vegeta like a respected ally. First time the terrifying deity ever did to someone. King Zen and King Mu introduced Vegeta to everyone and declared him to be the one who was able to defeat the King of Nothingness and impressed both kings. This confirmed everyone's doubts and uncertainties about Vegeta's abilities. They all began to show him the proper respect he deserved and towards the strength of the same who became a destroyed deity. The gift sent by the King of All was a box in carved Indian rosewood decorated with gold, pearls, and colorful gemstones. Inside it was a note written in a sky blue card with gold borders. As intricate as the design was, the childish scribbles on the said note made it look like a joke played by a playful child.
Naughty and I shared in this gift. This is to congratulate the God of Destruction from Universe 7 for his outstanding work in raising the mortal level of his universe to a top. Keep up the good work, Vegeta. We look forward to meeting you again, the notes read.
Vegeta scoffed and rolled his eyes at the rewarding gift. After years of hard work and perseverance, the beautiful box contained just a mere pack of candies. Several years, Vegeta had been a strict leader in his team, wanting to raise the ranks of the 7th universe to become the best universe immortal level ranking. In order to do so, Vegeta had deduced a plan to constantly destroy things that are unnecessary in his universe, so Shin could create more significant beings. Vegeta used his divine powers of death and devastation to make use of darkness in mortals' hearts. He believed that mortals' emotions such as hatred, bitterness, loneliness, anger, evil desires are a never-ending cycle. He manipulated these things for him to destroy, and of course this without proper consequences for the clients. Vegeta would only accept a request if he believed there is a worthy reason for the target to be destroyed. Those who would decide to go with the contract would have to pay with their own souls, just as how he did with those they asked of to destroy. This also serves as the cruel punishment for their decision, which benefited the balance of the universe when Vegeta kills two birds in one stone. He made sure that the urban legend about the ritual of summoning would be widely spread across the universe. Those who would make fun of it were severely punished as well, by him forcing them to wish for destruction themselves as punishment. Over time, Vegeta had become a cold and ruthless god. He took pride in his abilities and his position. He was serious and bound to his duties as a god of destruction. Because he was always causing death and destruction to all those he deemed as unworthy of his existing universe, Shin was also able to create more and more existences. Time passed by. There were enough mortal level life in the 7th universe to make them rise to the top of the mortal level rankings, most of which Vegeta would test and challenge if they were worth keeping. The overly strict rules about superiority, strength, and pride were a problem most of the time. It interferes with most of the judgments with mortals, despite their other usefulness in society. Anyone he would deem as weaklings and useless to him will be utterly destroyed and without caring for any other benefits. His goal was to make the seventh universe the strongest, feared, and most powerful universe in the multiverse. This was the reason why Vegeta always wanted to destroy the Earth and its human inhabitants. He's disgusted by the level of strength and relevance to his universe. Then he realized that he found a useful thing about them because of a maguro nigiri, his favorite food. All ingredients used to make maguro nigiri only existed on Earth, and the gentle humans were the only ones who could culture these things. His adoration for the food this planet and its prophetic people offered him spared the cursed world from his divine wrath and punishment. That's until he happened to eat that damn fruit which brought him. Still, it wasn't enough for him to destroy the Earth and its inhabitants completely. Despite the curse he put on anyone who would damn fruit eventually caused a global pandemic. He needed a good reason to destroy this damn mudball of a planet. For so many years, Vegeta waited for anyone from this planet to wish the world to be destroyed, just for him to have that long-awaited reason. Then it happened one unexpected night. He author's notes, guide to Vegeta's Yonsei's powers and abilities. Sudden destruction came to my life. Guide to Vegeta Yonsei's power of destruction. Destroyer forms by the lonely normal form. God of Destruction's power. The Hakai is a technique of a god of destruction that allows them to focus their destructive power on a single target, and by his command destruction, that particular thing shall be destroyed from their existence. There are two methods of the Hakai technique. One as demonstrated by Topo, by concentrating one's power of destruction into a Hakai spear, creating a ball of blackish purple energy of destruction that can erase anything makes contact too, aside from an immortal or one that possesses great power of destruction. The other and more effective method is by making a connection to the core of existence and concentrating one's desire for destruction on that thing, as demonstrated by Vegeta and Beerus. Destroyer mindset. Being a Saiyan when he was a mortal, Vegeta has a natural instinct for destruction. This making it easy for him to have the mindset necessary to become a destroyer at the end. Thus, section. As Vegeta delves deep into the mindset of a destroyer, his irises change color from a dark obsidian to glowing magenta. Facial expression also becomes unhinged due to the euphoria brought forth by the gratification of his innermost and primal desire to destroy. Secret of self-indulgence. A severe level of self-indulgence is the base mindset required of a destroyer, which draws out the user's power of destruction by the usage of the ability to gratify one's destructive impulse and instincts through focusing one's mind on causing destruction alone. This is mainly the reason for Vegeta being chosen by Beerus to become a god of destruction, due to his primal Saiyan instincts that easily allowed him to have a proper destroyer mindset, because of his savage Saiyan nature as a mortal. Vegeta's destructive powers only grow stronger the more he satisfies his inner instinct to destroy. This easily made Vegeta the unique one among the gods of destruction. It allowed him to easily surpass them all within a short moment of time after he became the god of destruction of the seventh universe. Ozaru, a Saiyan's inner beast nature. They transformed into this monstrous, gigantic, demonic monkey whenever they stare at the full moon. primal ego, the combination of the powers of the Ozaru and the secret of self-indulgence, ultra ego. This is considered to be Vegeta's true destroyer form, possessing a limitless yet uncontrollable destructive power driven by primal Saiyan instinct, capable of destroying the multiverse. Limiter cannot contain such power. List of powers and abilities as a Saiyan mortal. Born as a Saiyan mortal with royal blood and a super elite status as a warrior, Vegeta already possessed a vast array of superhuman physical attributes, which he has trained to godlike levels through levels of rigorous training. Through years of rigorous training with Whis and Beerus prior to him becoming a god of destruction. Superhuman strength. As a Saiyan, Vegeta possesses immense physical strength, far more advanced than that of any human being and most alien races. He is strong enough to effortlessly break all mortal materials or weapons, move in increased gravity without any discomfort after his gravity training on Beerus' planet. Superhuman speed. As an extremely experienced and trained Saiyan warrior, Vegeta can move and fly at hypersonic and eventually light speeds, enabling him the ability to travel great distances for periods of time, or move at untrackable speeds while in combat. Superhuman durability. As a highly trained Saiyan, Vegeta's body is far more durable than that of normal human beings, being essentially invulnerable to all mortal-made weapons. This ability grows more powerful after he became the god of destruction. Superhuman senses. Vegeta is able to think and react at extremely high speeds, easily able to dodge or catch projectiles fired from weapons, or even keep up with incredible combat speed from his opponents. As a Saiyan, Vegeta also has enhanced senses of smell, taste, and sight, which further increase his combat senses and instinct. Telekinesis, a technique that allows a user to manipulate objects and other people with the power of one's mind. Telepathy is a way to communicate with others using one's mind. Users can also read the minds of the ones they communicate with, similar to telepathic eavesdropping. Energy abilities. As an elite Saiyan warrior, Vegeta has great mastery over his own ki, the natural life force every being possessed and uses. Fighting abilities. Ki manipulation. Vegeta can freely control his ki energy to enhance his abilities and create offensive and defensive attacks. Flight, the ability to take flight through the manipulation of ki. As a Saiyan, Vegeta can naturally fly at incredible speeds with minimal effort. Ki sensing, the ability to sense the energy of other beings. Vegeta learned this technique during his training with Whis. Ki transfer. Vegeta can grant some of his energy to a wounded person to restore some of their energy. Godly Ki Mastery. Vegeta can exchange the nature of his ki to that of the gods, increasing his power drastically with the godly ki. Vegeta gains access to god-level transformations, such as the Super Saiyan God and the Super Saiyan Blue. Spirit control. Having achieved spirit control through his training under Master Pybera of planet Yadrin, Vegeta became able to use and control every bit of his power to a much greater extent. This also allows him to master several techniques such as instantaneous teleportation, proliferation, cloning, instant regeneration, and force spirit fission, which allows him to forcefully break absorbed combined energy apart, or even to do the reversed force spirit vision, which allows him to forcefully collect energy from his surroundings and combine them into one, or create giant beasts made with heat. He can freely control his own will. Destruction, Hakai. The ability of gods of destruction allows them to destroy anything from existence. Vegeta became proficient with this skill after being trained by Beerus, being recognized by Beerus himself, and given a signature god of destruction, giving as proof of his mastery over this ability, even prior to him becoming an actual god of destruction. Immunity to destruction and extermination. Due to his indomitable willpower and latent powers of destruction, Vegeta is immune to the techniques of destruction and extermination, as he demonstrated during his battles against Turbo and King. Mental abilities. Extremely high willpower. Vegeta's willpower, which is mainly fueled by his pride as the Prince of the Saiyans, such that he can stand great physical and mental stress. His willpower is so high that it made his thoughts impenetrable even to the most powerful deities. It is also resistant to any mind attacks such as mind manipulation, illusions, and mind reading. Genius of combat. Vegeta is a brilliant tactician, having shown his skills many times during battles, as praised by Whis, Beerus, Yogenkyo, Belmont, Yongshin, and even King Zen and King Mu themselves. He is highly intelligent and is a fast learner too. His intuitions and his perceptions are always on point. These made him even more dangerous and intimidating. Mastery of self-indulgence, Ultra Ego. With using the Ultra Ego transformation, Vegeta gains the ability to get stronger as his fighting spirit damage. Of Vegeta's power-ups and transformations as a mortal Saiyan. Saiyan Power, Zenkai Boost. Saiyan genetic trait that allows their performance to continually increase against adversity, enabling them to heal faster and simultaneously improve compared to before. Ozaru, like all Saiyans, Vegeta can transform to great height when absorbing enough blood waves, usually from looking at a full moon. While still having his tail, Vegeta retains his rationality and composure when transformed. Likewise, he also retains the ability to fully speak and manipulate his energy for feats such as flying. Super Saiyan. This form multiplies Vegeta's base power 50 times his normal amount. Vegeta first achieved this transformation when he was just 9 years old after he learned Beerus' part in destruction of planets. It is worth mentioning that Vegeta also achieved the following transformations during the 15-year gap between 4 and 5 of The Legend of the God of Destruction. Saiyan 2nd grade, full-powered Super Saiyan, and Super Saiyan 2. Super Saiyan God. Saiyan transformation that surpasses Super Saiyan and its other levels. Vegeta achieved this while doing a stance ritual summoning the spirits of all Saiyans via spirit control and commanding them to share their inner light with him. As noted by Helis during Vegeta's battle with Toppo, the Super Saiyan God state possessed the aura of a god. God-like Saiyan. An empowered state of being undertaken by Saiyans who gain control of Super Saiyan God and gain the ability to utilize godlike power without having to change their form. Super Saiyan Blue, a form that uses the power of Super Saiyan God, the first Super Saiyan form, perfected Super Saiyan Blue. The completed Super Saiyan Blue form that results in the user being able to transform into a higher form. Vegeta mastered this during his self-training. Super Saiyan Blue evolved, a state achievable by a user of Super Saiyan Blue who has broken through their limits. Vegeta first achieved this during his battle with Toppo. Ultra Ego, a transformation which utilizes the mastery of self-indulgence technique as well as the power of destruction. Vegeta first unleashed this transformation during his battle with Frieza on planet Namek. Note that Vegeta can still use all of these power-ups and transformation even after he became the God of Destruction. Powers and abilities as the God of Destruction of the 7th universe. After Vegeta became a God of Destruction, all the Saiyan abilities he possessed as a mortal were brought over and were enhanced to unbelievable levels. It is noted by Champa that Vegeta was the first God of Destruction to be able to retain all his mortal abilities after becoming the God of Destruction. The following are other powers and abilities Vegeta obtained after becoming a God of Destruction. Immortality. Being a deity, Vegeta enjoys eternal life and eternal youth. He has physically stopped aging at 25 years old, 10 months and 18 days after he became the God of absolute power over death and devastation. Being a God of destruction of the 7th universe, Vegeta can kill and destroy anything from its existence as within the universe, from stars to planets to entire solar systems and galaxies, even with just his presence alone, is also or atoms. Also noted by Yonsa, Whis, and Shin that Vegeta is capable of destroying the entire universe, even the multiverse, the whole, if he wanted to, since he was confirmed to have the strength and powers of a multiverse level deity, which are stronger than King Mu and King Zen by the time Vegeta was falling in love with Bulma as Yonsa. Core of existence manipulation. By being the deity who serves as the judge, punisher, and executor of everything that exists within the universe, Vegeta can freely manipulate the cause of existence, destroy them whenever he. Substitution, a divine ability that allows a god of destruction to take over someone's identity and existence in that person's place by destroying the original body and absorbing its energy of existence into itself. That way, he shall be recognized as that person even if he doesn't exactly look like that person. This technique is useful during investigation. Immunity to poisons, normal ki, possessions, mimicry. Reality warping. After his training with Yonsa, the multiverse level deity who manipulates realities, Vegeta can freely control the time, space, and reality of his own universe. He uses his power to enclose a reality within a closed space, separates them into normal reality, in order to take his targets of clients away. Versatility, the ability to make everything he says to happen. Deity who punishes mortals, Vegeta uses his power to curse or punish all mortals who go against him, or sometimes just because he felt like it, like when he cursed the Earthlings to eat Korea to become sick, thus causing a worldwide pandemic across the Earth, or when he commands planet Namek to suffer a 1,000-year drought for breaking his law about creating the Dragon Ball. Series this work belongs to and there we go. Well, except what I said before, I'm not gonna mince words. Yeah, that's the end. Backstory. But until the next stream, potentially carrying on with the main story. Yeah. Or, I don't know, play a game. Maybe the bloody Kakarot one. Have some fun with the DLC. And we'll see. Anyway. Yeah, massive big bang shout out to you again. Hello, sis. Hope you enjoyed all the reading thoroughly. And yep, they're here in the playlist. You can watch, or rather listen to, anytime you well desire. Yeah. For now, of course, this is adieu.
目を閉じるな今受けて立つ恐怖を解き放て戦いの後に残されるのは虚しさと知ってても Get a chance 俺がぶち切りそうさ極限超えのエナジー炸裂スーパードラゴンソウル熱い奇跡を起こせ宇宙のパワー高めてゆけ魂の正義を誰も壊せやしない愛に満ちた命に触れたその手で未来を守れマジだぜスーパードラゴンソウル大地切り裂いてゆく戦うたびに強くなるぜ炸裂スーパードラゴンソウル